this is Annette from Champs Academy, sharing with you how to help or what to do if your child is having a new term tantrum. Now, of course, new terms can mean lots of different things to lots of children and young people. So it could mean a mix of excitement and nerves and the unknown and change and all different things. Also, if it's been over a longer period, such as the summer holidays, then of course it can be difficult for them to get into a new routine. We're all the same, we're creatures of habit. So of course over a 6 or 7 week period, we've all got used to getting up later, doing our own thing, not having any homework or school uniform to do, no packed lunches, so we're all the same. So what we need to do is make sure that if your child is having a new term tantrum, whether that's before the new term or sometime during the new term, then you need to know what to do to stop it getting worse, or perhaps stop making it worse. And I say that in the truest sense because there are some times where we can quite easily overreact or react to something that causes the situation to become much worse than it needs to be. So here's a few steps for you. First of all, press pause. So just like a control, if you pressed pause on your Netflix or Sky Plus or whatever it might be, then of course the picture freezes. Now it's a bit like the mannequin challenge that was around a few years ago. It was like everyone paused, and actually there's a real purpose behind that. It provides the ability to have that space to think. Now, often we are in, particularly now, a society where it's instantaneous and we instantaneously react. So by pressing pause or taking a mental step back, what we actually do is have the ability to think, to act like we want, and also to respond. So there's a difference between reaction and response. Reaction is that instantaneous speech, communication, or action. Response is coming from a level of control, being able to see things as they really are, not get caught up in the furore of emotions that your child is going through, and then be able to take appropriate action. Take a deep belly breath. I teach this all the time to young people, and it's amazing how many parents say to me, wow, that is just a simple way of being able to control things. Now, of course, there's a lot more to what we teach and help young people with than just belly breathing, of course, but it's the first step, and it's a very simple thing that any of us can do at any point, wherever we are. So whether your child or teenager is at school, whether you're at home, whether you're right in the thick of that particular emotional explosion, as I class it is, taking a few belly breaths will instantly calm how you feel, but it does a very other special thing too. It also has the ability for us to think clearly. Now, of course, we have oxygen going around our body all the time, but when we shallow breathe, so almost breathing with our shoulders, it means that perhaps not enough oxygen is getting around our brain to be able to give us clear thinking. So we often have what I class as brain fog, or we have the instant reaction rather than clear thinking about it. So take a deep belly breath. It creates that distance and the ability to think more clearly for best action, or maybe non-action. Maybe the situation just will fizzle out without actually getting too involved in it. But obviously every situation is different. Listen to them, and really listen to them. The amount of parents I have seen coming to the school gate with their device, or maybe sitting in the park with their device. Children need your time. They need to be listened to. They need to feel like they're being heard, and really heard. Like whatever they're talking about, it's important to them. So make sure they have your undivided attention to really listen to them and not be what's classed as absent present, which means that you're with them, but actually you're not with them. And through listening, you'll be able to understand what they really need, not necessarily want. There's a huge difference. So what do they need? Do they need just to be able to offload, as in talk about it and then it just fizzles out? Do they need action? So do you need to go into the school if it's something to do with the school, or contact the teacher, or teaching assistant, or even Senko if that's related? Do they need to do something different? Maybe they've just got some pent-up energy that actually they need to get rid of, which can quite easily become things like anger and sadness if it's not directed in the right way. So after school clubs, different activities, going to the park, running off that energy. The school system is not necessarily the best for young people. And I mean that because we get them to sit there and to listen, and maybe that's not their learning style. Maybe they need to move and get up and move around, but we have to, or we make them sit in front of a class, and not necessarily that's going to be the best for them. So they've got a collection of energy and emotions that they maybe need to get rid of. And if they don't, then what can happen is last thing at night, and I'm sure you've probably all experienced this, last thing at night, all of a sudden all these random things come out, and it ends up being a late night, well into the early morning before they settle and go to sleep. Create solution-based thinking. And what that will help them do is to build resourcefulness, to become resourceful in a challenge rather than getting stuck in it. What is it I can do? What is it that I can say? How can I help myself? It also builds resilience. Children need challenges. They need to be challenged. We all do, to build our resilience, to build our personal development, and to build that sort of grit to help us through different challenges as we begin to grow, develop, and as your child or teen goes into the next stage of their life. And it also helps to create a healthy routine to manage emotions and challenges no matter when they come up, whether that's at school or at home. And lastly, create healthy routines. Enough sleep. Make sure that they're not on their device late at night, which can disrupt sleep because the blue light that's emitted from devices then gives our brain the thought that actually we need to stay awake. It's almost like daylight. So it then takes them longer to settle down, longer to get good quality sleep that can quite often provide the ability for them to think clearly, to not get caught up in the emotions and the emotional explosion of different, maybe simple challenges. So these are simple things to help your child go through the new term. I hope they have a fantastic start to the new term. Of course, Champs Academy is here to help all young people, to help them feel inspired and empowered, and our mission is to inspire and empower 1 million children and teens by 2020. So we're here to help. If you need help with your child, whether it's to do with confidence, emotional resilience, bullying, or anything else, then please do get in touch. And if you'd like to be the difference, the positive difference for helping young people in the next generation and beyond, then we are looking for more coaches to meet the demand of our services.